said, we'll just take a look at the program guide. And this is why I can just do this without notes, because I can just scan down here and make sure I'm not going to miss anything. But
Got an extra one?
oh my goodness, yes.
Great.
There you go. You're welcome. Okay. About 20 more. All right, I made a list of what's included, and there's so much to this program that really I couldn't list it all because we'd be here all night. But these are the really important things. But the grocery store tour is really important, and you don't have to come to all of these. I kind of have a lot of different events, knowing that everybody's busy, and hopefully you can just make as many as you can make. Because we're going to do other things together, like meditation classes and things, in addition to the potlucks. So the grocery store tour is awesome, and that's we just meet at. And anyway, go down the aisles, and I kind of give you tips on what to get, and we look at some labels together, because that's going to be a challenge for you at the beginning is label reading, because sugar is one of the things that we're going to avoid. We can have some things like maple syrup and agave nectar, but as far as the sugars, you're going to have to read a lot of labels because they're putting it in everything. And not to go totally off subject, but I watched a movie the other night called Food for Change, and it just kind of opened my eyes even more about the sugar in our culture, really, the way we're consuming it. And cocaine is from a cocoa plant. I mean, and sugar is a natural thing too, and we're concentrating it so much and having it like high fructose corn syrup, and it's a drug. It's a drug. So when you get high off of sugar, when you eat it and then you crash, then you're all depressed. And you have to have more sugar to get happy again, and more sugar than you had last time, because you got to, you're not going to feel it if you don't have more. So this is basically like rehab, okay? But it's a fun rehab, and the community that is growing. That we're growing and growing and growing. So it's you're not alone. There's hundreds maybe that have gone before you now, and through this cleanse, and once you go through the program once, you can repeat it again for $50. And that's not to say that you're going to fall off or whatever, but it's just a good way to stay in community, and stay on track. And that's what helps you be successful is, staying around people that are, following the same lifestyle as you. And I mean, I don't want to pressure you either, because, after this book is done, you might want to just add it back all in, It's totally fine if you do. Most people end up, feeling so good at the end that they choose to not maybe add everything back in, maybe just a couple things. So I advise people to not worry so much about that 22nd day and focus on that, and just take it one day at a time, because it can get overwhelming to think, like, what am I going to do after this is done? What am I going to add back in? You will be a transformed person after this is done. You will not be the same. So you won't even know right now what you're going to feel and think at that time. It's amazing, the transformation that happens. Maybe I should let you talk, and, did you have to leave after?
No.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
You can pop in right now, though. That would be smart until I get really rolling on this. This is Gary, by the way. He just finished the last program, and he wanted to share his experience. Hi.
So, hi. So, 5 weeks ago, literally 5 weeks ago or less, I was sitting right where you are. I was over in that corner back there because I was late. But I'll let me stay anyway. So we'd just gone through this, my wife Patty and I just went through this together. And everything Elle has told you so far, she's really kind of underplaying it. I want you to know that. She's always like this, but as much as she can, she's trying to underplay things. When she says this will change your life, it really will. It's been amazing. The change in Patty and I has been phenomenal, and I mean, we love you for it. It's amazing. But anyway, I did write some things down, so just to give you some numbers. Patty and I got our blood work done before and then on the 22nd day, and both of our total cholesterol numbers dropped by over 80 points in that time period. And that is pretty above
That's
average.
the highest that we've had, but
Wow.
80 points.
80 points.
89
80 points.
was yours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, 80.
Well, mine was something more than that. And just to tell you, Patty's cholesterol was really bad. She has a family history. Her cholesterol was almost 300. It went down by 84 points. Mine was never that bad. I was in like 172 or something. I was less than 100, less than they could read at the minute
How's
clinic
that even
thing.
possible? I mean, well, I'm sure I'll find out.
Yeah, we'll discuss that later.
Yeah. It's amazing. But I mean, and that's a remarkable number or whatever, and that's wonderful in and of itself. But that's not even close to the most important part. About this, the most important part, I think, of the whole thing was the incredible education you gave us. How much you opened our eyes to things that we didn't know about nutrition and about our world and the way it works and things like that. And Elle's with you, like she said, every day, literally every day. There's an email, at least an email from her with some recipes, some words of wisdom, a video to watch or a website to go check out or something like that, so you can see things and you're learning something every day. Really encourage you, if you can, to go through it with somebody. That was really fantastic for us. We did literally read the book to each other every morning before I went into the office. We sat there and read that day's reading or whatever, which usually never takes more than 5 or 10 minutes probably. But that was nice to share. So if you can go through it with somebody, that's great. If you, I don't know how difficult it would be to go through and have a partner who wasn't doing it, or whatever. It would take a lot of perseverance, I think, without that everyday support. But Ella's there for you too, and the people in your group. You will become very close with them and great friends, and I look forward to seeing them again after that. And miss the first week without the potluck. You'll really miss it. Something terrible. We sure did. So I just made some more notes here, so let me go through this. Some of the other changes happened to us. Patty, on the 5th day of the cleanse, she woke up and she could breathe through both sides of her nose. And she realized she probably hadn't done that in 15 or 20 years, that she always was stopped up at one side or the other. And that night she was on the couch and she said, I can still breathe. I've been breathing all day. It sounds kind of stupid, but it was remarkable for her. And on the 6th day, I saw the impact of that. My wife, who is, and her entire family are night owls. My wife was up before me at 6 a.m., bumping around the house, humming and singing. And her energy level has been, come on in, how are you doing?
Hi.
Her energy level has been through the roof ever since. I went home today before I left the store to take our dog home. And my wife's a CPA, so there's really busy times in the tax season. And but she was in the kitchen cleaning out the cabinets because her little computer program makes her take breaks from, sitting at the computer. And she's like, this new girl is exhausting because she's up and doing things. Where she used to take her little 8-minute breaks, she would fall asleep at her desk. Now she's up, she's cleaning out the cabinets because she's so full of energy.
Yay.
And she's getting up early and she's sleeping. She's going to sleep earlier, so she's more like a quote-unquote normal person, whatever that is. So that's been a remarkable thing. Sleeping has been so much better. I always thought I slept better before, or I slept well before. I never knew what a good night's sleep was. I sleep so deeply. So, what's the right word? Restoratively, I guess, or something. I can feel the difference in my body. And it took me, 11 or 12 days. I think you were starting to get worried that I was going to be one of those people that said, I haven't seen any change. I don't see anything. Nothing's happening. But it took 11 or 12 days before all of a sudden I realized, because I didn't have any real problems. Patty couldn't breathe. Patty, she had such a low energy level that she did 2 5-hour energy drinks a day for over 5 years.
Wow.
We bought so many of them, I'm not kidding you, we bought them by the case on eBay. Okay? She hasn't touched one since the first day of the cleanse, yeah. And, so I didn't have any of those real major problems or anything. Life was pretty good. It's my gene. We lived a really long time just on meanness. But, my whole family. But about the 11th, 12th day, I could really start to feel a difference and, how I felt. I just felt like my body was just, it was spending so much less energy and working so much less hard. My English is leaving me. But,
Take away your English skills, but everything else is great.
Everything else is fine. But, I felt like my body was having just a much easier time getting through its day. But it was a kind of strange thing, and I don't know where this comes from. You might know or what. But I was getting more tired early. Like I used to stay up till about midnight or something. And about 11 o'clock, I was like, man, I got to go to bed. And I'd go to bed.
You didn't have the artificial stimulants.
That's probably what it was, yeah. That's probably what it was. But just to kind of wrap up here or whatever. Food tastes better and feels better.